Man, I don't know if I can fit the orange in this thing or the grapefruit in here. This guy's a monster. We're gonna squeeze some in here. Welcome to another episode of Mixology and Mortgages with HatchMan. Today I have a very special guest. I have Mr. Justin Wine. Justin, tell him who you are.
Justin Wine, I'm a business development officer with Thomas Title Escrow.
That's right. So today we're going to talk about the title company, right? The title company and what it is that they do. Because if you've ever purchased a home or even refinanced, there always has to be a title company that's involved in that transaction. Why is that? Why do we have to have a title company?
Well, in Arizona, we act with two functions. For the escrow side of things, and then the title report and title insurance side of things.
Okay.
So escrow is a trusted third party that receives and transfers funds between the parties.
So anytime you're purchasing a home or even refinancing a home, there always has to be another party involved, and that is the title company. So the title company is a third-party individual that basically helps transfer the ownership from seller to buyer, or again, if you're refinancing, we're putting a new loan on it. We're paying off one loan, putting against another loan. We need someone to facilitate that. That's a kind of like not an uninterested, they're interested, but like a disinterested third party. I'm trying to find the best way to put it, right?
Correct, yeah. We're not on either side of the transaction, buyer or seller side. So we're purely acting as an intermediary to receive and transfer funds back and forth between buyer and seller.
Exactly. So some of the fees that you'll see when, especially on the buy side, if you're purchasing or selling a home, the title company has title insurance. They've got lender insurance, title insurance, owner's policy. Talk to us a little bit about why somebody would need that and what the purpose of that is.
Absolutely. Title insurance acts just about like any other insurance that you might have, auto insurance, health insurance. What makes it a little bit different is auto insurance, health insurance protects you in case anything happens in the future. Mm-hmm. Title insurance protects you for the past history of the property.
Okay.
So make sure there's no liens on the property, make sure that the parties that are selling you the property are who they say they are, and they're the actual owners of the property, and there's nobody else that has any interest in that home.
Nice, okay. So basically think about it like this, right? So let's say the person that you are trying to buy this house from, after they sold it, they at one point had a lawsuit against them, and somebody tried to file a lawsuit against their house to have a lien against them, but they've since sold the house. So the title company is kind of there to make sure that that lien, once it's changed ownership, doesn't transfer onto the new owner.
Correct.
Is that kind of?
Yeah, absolutely. And there could be a number of liens. Some of the most common ones would be HOA liens, tax liens. Yep. Mechanics liens, solar liens are really popular right now, especially here in Arizona.
Exactly. Okay. Well, no, that's all good info, because if you think about it, when you're going to purchase a house, and you know, especially if you're getting a mortgage for it, you're already putting a lien against it.
Absolutely.
You don't want to find out about any surprises and all of a sudden you owe the HOA money or something like that. So those are the types of things the title company protects, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Fantastic. And then even with the refinance, you still need a title company to facilitate that, because they need to make sure that, you know, there's not a second loan out there. Like if you got a loan with me and then we're refinancing again to lower your rate, did you get a second loan elsewhere, and what does that look like? Because title is in charge of finding all of those debts attached to that property outside of the lender, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So whether you took maybe have taken a second mortgage or maybe a home equity line of credit, all of that would show up on the title report so that you would be able to see it and make sure that that's all cleared prior to you being able to close and fund on the loan.
Or for some clarifications on a home equity line of credit, if you wanted to still have that home equity line and you're refinancing, in that case we do what's called a subordination, meaning that they're still going to be in second place and the lender is going to be the first holder, the first lien holder on that mortgage. The person that does the home equity line also has a lien on it, but they're in second place. They just have to agree to being in second again with the new lender. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct.
Cool. There you have it, guys. I mean, that's the role of the title company. They're very important in what they do. We have to have them. Even if actually you're purchasing a home and there's not a real estate agent involved, you still need more than ever a title company, because that title company is going to help facilitate that transaction between the sell side and the buy side. So if you have any questions, or real estate agents out there, if you need an awesome title rep to hook you up, Justin is the man. He'll take good care of you. He's my go-to for all my refinances. This guy knows his stuff. So title, it's important. You got to have it.
Fantastic.
Justin, appreciate you coming today.
Absolutely.
And this is extra exciting because, Justin, what did you do before you got into title?
I managed and ran bars and restaurants, and then also was in alcohol distribution for 10 years.
This guy knows his drinks, so that's one of the ways we met as well. I'm obviously a fan of cocktails, and we're going to be making one for you right here. So with Justin, it was a little bit different because most of the time I make my guests, just something fun. They typically never know what they want. Justin knows his cocktails, so I asked him ahead of time, what do you want me to make? And he requested
Hemingway Daiquiri.
the Hemingway Daiquiri. So this is the Hemingway Daiquiri, guys. It is rum. It is cherry liqueur. Specifically, you want the Luxardo one. This one is kind of a different version of the Luxardo one. The typical one it looks like what? It's got like
It's got bamboo wrap.
yeah, like the bamboo wrap. It reminds me of like those Italian restaurants where they have like the wine and that are wrapped in the string. So if you find that one in stores, that's the typical one that goes with the Hemingway Daiquiri. And then of course we're gonna add some fresh grapefruit juice, fresh lime juice, a little bit of simple syrup. We're actually gonna garnish it with a dried lime instead of the fresh one today. So
Add a little more, add a little interest to it, yeah.
little rusticness, little something. So let's get to it here. I feel like.
So what's great about this cocktail is, generally when people think of daiquiri, they think of a rum version of a frozen margarita, right?
Right, exactly.
So blended with some strawberry puree and ice. This is one of the original versions of a daiquiri with a little bit of twist, named after Ernest Hemingway.
Love it.
The grapefruit and the Luxardo liqueur, it's going to add layers of depth that are really, really interesting in this cocktail.
So we start with 1.5 ounces of just a good white rum. Justin actually recommends a more high proof rum than what I'm using. And then a 1/2 ounce of the cherry liqueur here. But yeah, like you said, it's these are fun cocktails because when I think of a daiquiri, I immediately think of that frozen, like you go
Absolutely,
to,
yeah.
What's that
Fat
place?
Tuesdays.
Yeah, Fat Tuesdays in Vegas where they just crank it out. To me, that's a daiquiri, but that's not what it should be, right? I mean, a good daiquiri done well is just like any other cocktail.
Yeah. So traditionally, a traditional daiquiri is lime juice, simple syrup, and white rum, shaken, served in a coupe or martini glass. Very simple, very clean, very refreshing. Great summertime cocktail.
Oh yeah. Man, I don't know if I can fit the orange in this or the grapefruit in here. This guy's a monster. We're gonna squeeze some in here. Use the strainer. Wow. So 1 ounce of fresh grapefruit juice. Look at that, we got it. So we're gonna want to use a strainer for this to kind of get some of this pulp out of there. So a little bit of that, and then, that's 1 ounce, and then a 1/2 ounce of lime juice. This one I can squeeze. I'm not gonna measure this one, I'm just gonna do half a lime. That should be about a 1/2 ounce right there.
Yep.
And then just a dash of simple syrup. You don't want it to be overly sweet. Rum by itself is already kind of sweet, so you don't want it to be too crazy. So just like a bar spoon. All right. I'm like the messiest cocktail maker of all time. She's always splashing. It's going crazy.
Just got ice and shake.
Ice and shake. I'm all nervous here. This guy knows what he's doing. I'm just like an at-home guy. Got a little bit of ice. Okay. So we're gonna shake this bad boy up. You got a dance with me? All right, that's what you want. You want outside to get nice and cold. And then we're gonna pour it in our coupe glass. Is it coupe or coup? I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce the P or not. I never know.
I pronounce it coupe.
Do you pronounce it coupe?
Yeah.
I don't know the rules here.
So traditionally, that glassware was used for champagne.
Right, yeah. Like the old school movies, what's that one with like
Great Gatsby.
Yeah, Great Gatsby's got the coupe glass. And then again, so these are pretty cool. If you want just kind of, garnish in a pinch and you don't feel like, slicing it up and making it look pretty, these are super easy to make. You just slice a bunch of limes, store them in a dehydrator or even in an oven at a super low temp, and then you just throw them in a jar, have them ready to go, and boom.
Yeah, shelf stable, they'll hold for a few months as long as they're sealed up.
Exactly. So there you have it, my man.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Once again, thank you for joining us today on another episode of Mixology and Mortgages. Justin Wine, thanks for having us.
Having me, yeah.
And telling us about how Title works. So,
absolutely. My pleasure.
Of course. And as always, guys, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Talk to you later.
Cheers.